In the heart of ancient Arabia, a humble carpet weaver named Amir toiled day and night, his hands creating magic from mere threads. Pause 0.6s, but little did he know that his greatest masterpiece would lead him into a web of deception. When a royal messenger arrived with a commission for the Sultan's palace, Amir saw it as the honor of a lifetime. Breath, he poured his soul into every stitch, unaware that envy watched from the shadows. For 40 nights and 40 days, Amir worked without rest, his fingers bleeding but his spirit soaring. The carpet became more than wool. It became a story woven in thread, a legend waiting to unfold. But the palace vizier, a man consumed by greed, saw not beauty but opportunity. Pause 0.6s, he whispered poison in the Sultan's ear, planting seeds of doubt about the humble weaver's intentions. When Amir presented his masterpiece to the Sultan, the vizier's scheme unfolded. Breath, the weaver, stood accused of embedding dark magic within the patterns, a crime punishable by banishment to the endless desert. Cast into a cold dungeon, Amir felt the weight of injustice crushing his spirit. Pause 0.6s, but in the darkness, he remembered his grandfather's words. True patterns reveal themselves only to patient eyes. The throne room stood empty, bathed in silver moonlight. Breath, there lay his carpet, glowing with an ethereal light. Patterns emerged that he never consciously wove, ancient symbols telling a story older than the palace itself. As Amir traced the glowing patterns, the truth unfolded. Pause 0.6s, the carpet revealed the vizier's entire scheme, his embezzlement, his lies, his betrayal of previous artisans. But how could a humble weaver present this to the Sultan? Suddenly, footsteps echoed through the hall. Breath, the vizier himself, entered, drawn by the mysterious light. His eyes widened in shock and fear. He knew his deception was about to unravel under the moon's revealing gaze. The vizier drew a jeweled dagger, his face twisted with rage. Pause 0.6s. You should have accepted your fate, weaver, he hissed. But Amir stood firm, the carpet's wisdom giving him courage he never knew he possessed. As they struggled, the carpet seemed to come alive, threads tangling around the vizier's feet. Breath, ancient magic, or mere coincidence? The weaver realized the patterns were protecting their secret, but for how long? A commotion alerted the palace guards, who burst in with drawn swords. Pause 0.6s. Both men stood accused now, but who would the guards believe? The respected vizier or the imprisoned weaver? The Sultan himself was awakened, his royal robes hastily donned. Breath, he looked between the vizier's smooth explanations and the weaver's silent dignity. Something in Amir's eyes spoke of truth, but proof remained elusive. Amir bowed deeply to the Sultan. Pause 0.6s. Grant me until dawn, he pleaded. Let the moonlight reveal what daylight hides. The vizier scoffed, but the Sultan, intrigued, agreed to this unusual request. The night stretched long, guards watching both men closely. Breath, the vizier, paced nervously, while Amir sat calmly, his faith in the ancient weaving wisdom unshaken. But would the moon cooperate with his plan? As clouds drifted across the moon, the vizier smiled triumphantly. Pause 0.6s. Your magic fails, weaver, he taunted. But Amir remained serene, knowing that true patterns reveal themselves in their own time, not by force. Just as hope seemed lost, the clouds parted. Breath, moonlight poured into the throne room, and the carpet began to glow with soft, pulsating light. Symbols emerged like whispers from the past, telling their silent story. The Sultan approached, his skepticism turning to wonder. Pause 0.6s. He saw accounts of missing gold, names of betrayed artisans, and the vizier's secret agreements with rival kingdoms. The truth unfolded before his eyes. The vizier, seeing his deception revealed, tried to flee. Breath, but the guards, now understanding his treachery, seized him firmly. His reign of corruption had ended under the revealing moonlight. The Sultan turned to Amir, humility in his royal bearing. Pause 0.6s. You have shown me that wisdom wears humble robes, he said. A kingdom that cannot see truth in moonlight deserves the darkness. In a move that astonished the court, the Sultan appointed Amir as his new advisor. Breath, the humble weaver, who understood patterns both in thread and in life, would now help weave the kingdom's future. The former vizier was led away to face justice, his greed having woven his own prison. Pause 0.6s. The court learned that day that corruption, like poor thread, eventually unravels under truth's light. Amir established a school for young weavers, teaching not just craft but character. Breath, the truest patterns, he would say, are those of integrity, patience, and respect for ancient wisdom. The kingdom flourished under this new wisdom. Pause 0.6's artisans were respected, justice prevailed, and the people felt heard. The carpet that once caused betrayal became a symbol of redemption. Amir often walked in the palace gardens, his humble nature unchanged by power. He remembered his days in the dusty workshop and knew that true honor comes not from position but from character. The carpet remained in the throne room, glowing softly each full moon. Pause 0.6's, it served as a reminder that truth, like moonlight, reveals what darkness tries to hide, and that wisdom often speaks through humble voices. Amir occasionally visited his old workshop, now maintained by his finest students. He would run his hands over the looms, remembering that every thread of our lives connects to a larger pattern we cannot always see. When a young weaver made an error in pattern, Amir would smile gently. Pause 0.6's, even mistakes can become beautiful patterns, he'd say. It's not the error that defines us, but how we weave it into our story. A caravan arrived with rare golden threads from distant lands. The weavers celebrated, but Amir taught them that the rarest thread is honesty, and the strongest pattern is woven with truth. Merchants brought disputes to Amir, trusting his wisdom. Pause 0.6's, he would listen to both sides, then say, "Let us weave a solution that honors both threads, for a pattern that excludes becomes weak." The Sultan often sought Amir's counsel, valuing his perspective. "You see patterns I miss," the ruler admitted. "You remind me that a kingdom's strength lies in how it treats its humblest threads." Amir spent evenings studying ancient scrolls, seeking deeper wisdom. Pause 0.6's, he believed that true leadership meant continuous learning, that even masters must remain students of life's great tapestry. Each full moon, the palace would gather to see the carpet glow. It became a tradition, a reminder that truth endures, that light reveals what darkness conceals, and that redemption awaits those who wait patiently. Children would gather at Amir's feet, listening to stories of patterns and wisdom. Pause 0.6's, he taught them that every person is a thread in life's great carpet, each essential, each connected to the whole. He would guide small hands on the loom, passing on tradition. "Weave not just with wool," he'd whisper, "but with kindness, with patience, with respect for those who wove before us." As years passed, Amir's hair silvered like moonlight, but his eyes held the same wisdom. Pause 0.6's, he had woven a life of purpose from threads of hardship, betrayal, and ultimately, redemption. When the time came to choose a successor, Amir selected not the most skilled weaver, but the most honest. "Skill can be learned," he said, "but character must be nurtured from within." The legendary carpet was preserved under glass, revered by all. Pause 0.6's, it no longer glowed under moonlight, its work was done. Its wisdom had been woven into the kingdom's very fabric. Amir would walk in the desert at dawn, the sands remembering his journey. From prisoner to advisor, from accused to honored, his life proved that patterns change, but truth remains constant. A young weaver, inspired by Amir's story, created a new masterpiece. Pause 0.6's, it contained hidden patterns of hope and unity, continuing the tradition that truth and beauty should be woven together. Amir's hands, though aged, never lost their skill. He wove one final carpet, a simple pattern that spoke of peace, acceptance, and the beauty of a life well lived. The kingdom thrived, its people united like threads in a strong carpet. Pause 0.6's, justice, wisdom, and respect had become the patterns by which they lived, thanks to one humble weaver's redemption. Amir gathered his students for a final lesson. Remember, he said, the patterns we create outlive us. Weave therefore with love, with truth, with respect for the great tapestry of life. As the sun set on his life, Amir looked over the peaceful kingdom. Pause 0.6's, he had woven his thread well, connecting hardship to wisdom, betrayal to redemption, creating a pattern that would endure. Amir's legacy lived on through generations of weavers. They spoke of the humble artisan who taught a kingdom that true wealth lies not in gold, but in wisdom woven from life's experiences. Each full moon, weavers would gather, remembering Amir's story. Pause 0.6's, they knew that under moonlight, truth reveals itself, and that redemption comes to those who wait with patient hearts. Amir's simple tools were preserved like relics. Not for their material worth, but for the lessons they represented, that greatness often begins in humility, and truth needs no decoration. Children learned Amir's values before they learned weaving. Pause 0.6's, First become good thread, teachers would say, then learn to weave, for no beautiful pattern can come from flawed character. The marketplace flourished with honest trade, where a man's word was his bond. Breth Amir's influence had woven integrity into commerce, proving that good patterns create lasting prosperity. The justice system was reformed, ensuring fairness for all. Pause 0.6s, no longer could the powerful crush the humble, for the pattern of justice now protected every thread in the kingdom's fabric. An annual celebration of wisdom was established, uniting the community. Breth people would share stories of redemption, remembering that from betrayal can come wisdom, and from injustice, justice. The desert moon shone as it had for centuries, unchanged. Pause 0.6s, it had witnessed Amir's journey from darkness to light, and now watched over a kingdom transformed by his wisdom. Weavers worked together in harmony, their patterns reflecting unity. Breth, they remembered that separate threads create nothing, but woven together, they create beauty that endures through time. Ancient wisdom scrolls were carefully preserved, studied by new generations. Pause 0.6s, Amir had taught them that old knowledge, like old patterns, contains truths that modern times often forget. Caravans came and went, exchanging not just goods but ideas. Breth, the kingdom, had become a beacon of wisdom, its patterns of justice and integrity influencing lands far beyond its borders. And so the legend endured, a humble weaver, a betrayed masterpiece, and moonlight that revealed truth. Pause 0.6s, remember. Patterns of integrity outlive patterns of greed, and redemption awaits those who weave with honest threads.